on now to the NBA, to a story that I saw earlier this week, and I had a long chuckle about this, but once I actually did my research and my digging, I was like, wow, this is incredibly genius. The Miami Heat are using sniffing dogs to check for the coronavirus. And if you don't know about this story and you just heard that from my lips for the first time, you probably had a similar giggle that I did, because I said, sniffing dogs, really? The dogs are going to be able to detect the coronavirus, and not only the coronavirus, but the multiple different strains of the coronavirus. And my stupid brain, my ignorant brain, was like, how the heck are some dogs gonna smell an invisible virus that's transferred? That's not even transferred through the air. It's transferred by contact and by bacteria, obviously. Um, and once I did some digging on this, I was like, wow, I am completely ignorant. This is actually really amazing. Dogs, obviously, as you know, have a incredibly strong sense of smell, good hearing, but it's the smell that really makes the difference here. And some dogs, have the ability to detect when a person is dealing with stuff like anxiety and stress. And if I don't know if you've ever had a dog when you were a kid, or maybe your dog now, whenever you're feeling sick, don't they act differently? Don't they come to your side? Maybe they'll snuggle with you in bed while you have some chicken noodle soup and you watch some football on a Sunday. Your dogs do that. Some of them have the ability to detect when you are feeling down. And a German study last year found that dogs were right 94% of the time when it came to coronavirus detection. That's 94%. That is amazing. That's incredible. I could not believe that. So the Miami Heat have now employed sniffing dogs. They're going to start allowing fans into the game, which kind of it's an interesting dynamic, especially when you compare that to what's going on the rest of the NBA right now, with a bunch of teams restricting jersey swaps with the enhanced rules that the NBA have had when it comes to leaving your hotel. And now it becomes a question: well, are we going to have an All-Star game? Are we going to start allowing fans back in slowly but surely? And the Miami Heat are one of the first teams to allow, are becoming one of the first teams to allow season ticket holders back into American Airlines Arena and allow fans back into the game. And it is because of the sniffing dogs, and this is something that's already been done around the world, especially at airports like Helsinki, Finland, and Dubai, I think, were the two airports named specifically in the report. Um, but there was a quote here from Matthew Jafarian, who is the executive vice president of business relations, or business strategy rather, for the Miami Heat, and he's saying researchers are finding that specially trained dogs can detect COVID on humans quickly and accurately, which again, this blows my mind. So essentially, what happens is fans arriving for the game will be brought to a screening area, and the dogs will walk up next to them. And if the dog keeps going, the fan's cleared, everything's fine. But if the dog sits, that's a sign, and it detects the virus, and the fan will be denied entry. So, I don't know. I guess it works the similar way that your dog can tell that you're sick when you're at home. I guess the dog can smell that you're sick when you walk past them, and they'll let everybody know that you have the virus. I'm assuming that a bunch of warning sirens, maybe an air raid siren, will come out when the dog sits down. Just kidding. That would be a little funny though. And of course, other protocols. If the guest is allergic to dogs, they can go the traditional testing route, where they can get results back in 45 seconds. All guests are still required to wear masks. Masks must be worn continually, and only soda and water will be sold at the American Airlines Arena. And all transactions will be cashless, so through a debit or credit card. I think this is. It'll be really curious to me if this works as well as people are saying it's going to work. There's no real take when it comes to the story. It's more just like a news reporting that you would get with your 6 o'clock news. I'm informing you about this because I read this story when doing some research for the show today, or really for the show yesterday, and I was like, that is absolutely incredible. And again, I had a gigantic laugh, and my mother would probably be ashamed of me for being so ignorant, because my mother is a veterinarian, has been a veterinarian for 20 plus years. So she's probably like, heck yeah, that's exactly exactly what, that's a great idea. It really just also speaks to how great animals are. Dogs are amazing. I'm not really necessarily a dog person or a cat person, but when there's stories like this, it's incredible what animals can do, and it's even better when it allows us to start enjoying sports like we all desperately want to, especially with this virus coming up on a year of being effective in this country, and with people definitely getting desperate to get back and enjoying their sports in person instead of being cooped up in your house all the time. So really interesting. Good on the Miami Heat for pushing the agenda and advancing the protocols in the NBA. If only if the Heat could actually start winning some basketball games. Now that's a different story for another day, but good on the Heat. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this segment from the Hard Headed Sports Podcast. You've heard what I've had to say, now I'm interested to hear what you think as well. If you enjoyed this highlight from the show and want to watch more highlights from the show as they come out after the show's completion, you should definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you're interested in listening to the entire show in its full-length entirety, you should follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all very soon.